Have you seen those memes with actors from the 70s that were in their 40s and they look like they're probably in their 70s, not the decade? I've seen a few of these recently. One was Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton from All in the Family, Archie Bunker and Edith Bunker. Well, apparently they were in their 40s when that show premiered. I think Carol O'Connor was like 47 and Gene Stapleton was like 44. Then there's the one of Wilford Brimley and Cocoon versus at the same age, Paul Rudd. And let me tell you, Paul Rudd's a whole lot hotter and looks a whole lot better at 50 than um, Wilford Brimley ever did. As funny as those memes are, they also got me thinking since my birthday is coming up in a little less than 2 weeks and I will be 52. I just was thinking a little bit about what it means to be aging as a Gen Xer, and it looks like we may be rewriting the book on this. I mean, we're probably all familiar with the Golden Girls, and I did not realize that when that show premiered, Brie McClanahan was 51. She's the same age I am now, and I wouldn't consider myself a Golden Girl. But her character was, a widow, and so was the character that Betty White played. Her character was a widow. So is it a generational thing about how we're aging versus how boomers are aging? And in that case, the greatest generation, the silent generation, how they are aging versus how we're aging. So the Golden Girls are a good example. Those ladies were probably our grandmother's age when that show came on. And you have to forgive me, I've got a little bit of congestion here. And, but it was the show was groundbreaking because it was showing single women in their later lives and how they were living their lives. The character of Blanche was very vivacious, very sexual. And, that was something you didn't see women of that age being portrayed as. Of course, Dorothy as a divorcee, very strong-willed, very outspoken, kind of like her character Maud, which was also on All in the Family spinoff. And then, of course, you have poor, sweet, naive Rose, who was just, Rose was a special one. And then, of course, Ma, she was the honestly, oddly enough, was not as old. The character or the lady who played her was not as old as the character Sophia, as she was supposed to be. She was actually, I think, a year younger than B. Arthur, if I remember correctly. But she was also a widower, and was also very strong-willed and had her own opinions. And picture it, Sicily, 1823. So, I think in a way the Golden Girls were groundbreaking, especially for the 80s, that they showed single women, very strong, very vivacious in the case of Blanche, and that they all had careers. I mean, Dorothy was a teacher. Rose worked for the help center, as I recall, and they were all just doing their thing, living their life in their golden age. And as a kid, I watched that show thinking, these are my grandmothers. These are like my grandmas. It's funny. They're funny, and I didn't understand all the adult situations that were going on because I was probably, I don't know, 12 or so when that show came on. So as I watched it, as I got older, I kind of understood it a little bit more. But as a younger person, I didn't quite understand how groundbreaking the show was for women in our age group. And as a woman in that age group now, I was wondering how different would Golden Girls be if it were on the air now. Would it be so groundbreaking? Would it be so I don't know. What do you think? Would it be as interesting? Because I've seen also like some of the cast or some of the actresses who are our age who could be, if they redid Golden Girls now, who would play like Jennifer Aniston, women our age in their 40s and late 40s and early 50s, Um, would it be the same in now? Because I personally think Gen X, we are, like I said, rewriting the book on what it means to be in our midlife. We seem to be doing a lot of different things. Growing up, I always heard about dreading turning 40. You did the over the hill party. I never had an over the hill party. Mainly two reasons. One is I don't do birthday parties per se because of my horrible, horrible track record with that. Having a February birthday, planning, when I was a kid, my mom would plan a birthday party and on a weekend before my birthday, and it would never fail. Then I'd have a snowstorm. And then as I got older, if I did something for myself, guess what? It would probably snow that week. So I kind of sort of gave up on having parties and doing special things. A lot of times I wait until the end of February or March. And then that also gives me a thing I was thinking about too. Do you celebrate birthday months? I have a few friends who do this, and I didn't know if this was like a younger person's thing, like a millennial. Is this a millennial thinking? Because one friend that does do it, she's a little bit older than me, but most everybody I know who does birthday months are younger than me. So I didn't know if that was a millennial thing. I know no, I don't think any of my friends who are boomers um, do that. My mom, her, I don't know if it's her generation or she technically was silent generation, but she was like right on the cusp of boomer. Like she would have been the first year of the boomer, a baby boomers. Because it's 45 when it sank, and her birthday was in December 44. So, she's like right on that cusp. So, she was of the thing that she didn't really celebrate birthdays after a certain time. She didn't like admitting her age, and or she was of the 29 again, 29, like the 40th anniversary of my 29th birthday or something like that. She didn't even do it that way, but she was very against letting people know how old she was. And so I don't know if that's like, again, a generational thing, or is it something that we're more open to? Because I don't care to tell anybody my age. Um, it doesn't matter. I don't feel defined by it. Now, when I turned 40, I did have a little, that was probably more sad. I was more sad when I turned 40 because at that point I had wanted to have a family. And I thought by that time I would have had a family. I would have had a significant other. I would have had a couple of kids. And in the situation when I turned 40, I was not in a happy place for me. I was, I didn't have the job I wanted. I was kind of in a not a dead end, not go nowhere job, and I didn't have my family that I had wanted. So 40 was rough. 40 was really rough for me. 50, which was almost 2 years ago, I didn't really have a big thing up for it, and I didn't really have any big issue with it. Now it was weird because at that point I had turned 40 and I was completely, I had or 50, sorry. So when I turned 50, it was strange um, because I had no one, I had no family at that point. My mom had passed like the year before, and I had my friend Michael, and that was about it. So yeah, 50 was a lot. It was weird. It was I didn't really celebrate it as a milestone birthday. Um I had, it was a birthday. It was nice, but I didn't have a big party. I didn't have a big thing for it. It wasn't that I was ashamed of it or that I felt old and decrepit or whatever. I just don't have a lot of people in my life to make a big fuss over it. So it wasn't necessarily because I was trying to hide the fact that I was 50. I like I said, I didn't care. I just didn't have anybody to really celebrate with me. So that kind of leads me to ask, did you feel um, sad energized? I mean, what did you feel like when you turned 40 or 50? And if you've done both, was there a big difference? Like for me, there was a big difference between 40 and 50. Um, and some, next in about 2 weeks, I'm going to be 52, and whatever. It's just a number, baby. Age is just a number, baby. I don't really feel like and I don't have that whole dread, and maybe that's just my outlook on it. Even though I didn't have the family that I wanted, and I don't honestly have the career that I thought I was going to have when I was 25. Um, but I don't have any dread, and I think a lot of people. I think some of the reasons why midlife crises happened, or why people get to this point in their life, they're trying to reclaim their youth. And there's honestly nothing in my youth that I want to reclaim. I mean, I had a great time in college. I had a great time in my 20s. But would I want to go back and live that? No. Now, would I want to go back and live it knowing what I know now? Yes, because I think in a sense, I feel like I could help some people, especially my mom. Um, but in the sense that, would I want to go back and be 25 again? Not really. I can't say that there was anything when I was 25 um, that I can't do now. So the only thing I think I would have done differently, or would have told my 25-year-old self, would be to probably go to a bigger city, get out of where I was from, because I think if anything impeded me in both the career and in finding someone um, as a life partner, it probably was that, because there wasn't a lot of eligible men where I worked, where I frequented when I was in my 20s and 30s. And I think that was, if I had to pinpoint a problem, I would say it would have been that. Um, a lot of people here, even Gen Xers and people my age, tended to get married very young. I had two friends, childhood friends that I grew up with, whose sole purpose of going to college was to meet someone, was to meet a man and get married, and they did that. So I think, and my goal was to go get an education and get a career. And I don't know if that mindset was what changed because they found someone and I didn't, or their interests and the type of people that they came in contact were more likely to be what compatible with what they like. I don't know, but that would be the only thing that I would want to go back and try to fix. Other than that, I don't understand the whole holding on to your youth and trying to reclaim your youth and living in the past, because there's a lot of stuff back when I was younger that I would not want to go through again, even for the chance to relive my youth. Um, so I feel like I'm here and I'm going to go forward and continue. And I have a whole lot of things to look forward to. I've got um, a lot of fun. I've got, if I keep doing my YouTube channel, I've got that. I've got lots of craft projects, crochet, things that I love to do. I've got Roland, who's over here. If you can hear him snoring. Um, I've got a lot of things that I can look forward to every day and not have to worry about what I wanted to do in 1993. You know, so how do you feel about that? Are you someone who kind of regrets your past and wishes you could go back and fix some things, would like to go back and reclaim your youth? And how are you going forward from this day? I think that it's important to look forward and not backward, because the rearview mirror, as they say, is smaller for a reason than the windshield, because the windshield's what's in front of you and the rearview mirror is what's behind you. You don't need to go back there. So that's my little philosophy for the day. Thanks for stopping by, and I catch you in the next video. Bye.